Oh, swallowed wrong. Hey, happy day 16. Welcome to the Get Up and Go Challenge. Day 16. P.S. Create your own create your own coughing spell by drinking your coffee and trying to sneak a drink of coffee before you start talking about the SOAP framework. Now, I did a little homework. I asked yesterday for input on what do you want to talk about next? What do you want to use the SOAP framework on? What challenge or change are you having in your life that you want to discuss? And we'll use it over the next couple of days. We'll go through a more detailed example for this next area or aspect of your life. I got equal amounts of votes for physical and for relationship because we've already done financial. We've just finished that up. And I went back and I looked in my workbook, which I'm not going to show you right now because I've got it set up. But I looked through my workbook, and on day 5, we rated physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution on a scale of 1 to 10. And I realized, lo and behold, that my physical had gone from a 5 to a 4. I actually rated it a 4. Why? Because I feel kind of blah, and I felt kind of blah. I actually had a COVID test around day 5 because I came back negative, and I had no symptoms, but I had been in contact with my son, who'd been in contact with his grandma, who tested positive for COVID. Now, she's got all kinds of other physical challenges, so we're like, there's no way. She has been so careful and has been around no other human beings. And my son has been so careful and been around nobody but a few of us who have also got high risk for COVID complications. Me and my daughter's pregnant. And so all of us that he'd been around, everybody's been really, really careful and super conscientious about taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. But I realized that physically I wasn't feeling awesome, and I rated myself a 4. So that caused me to decide that we're going to do physical now. I can't ignore it. I need to hop on it sooner rather than later and pay attention to why would I be feeling like my results in my physical well-being and health are going in the wrong direction, because that's why I do the rating. That's why I look at things. That's why I number up, and I think, well, how do I feel about certain things? And I certainly don't want to, in December, feel worse than I did in March when this whole thing started, or April is when I actually did this snapshot, the original physical snapshot. Well, how am I doing in each of these areas? How do I personally feel in each of these areas? And I was feeling pretty average, pretty okay. I'm doing okay. Better than some, not better than others. That's kind of, I don't try not to compare myself to other people. I try to compare myself to myself. So we're going to talk about physical. And of course, in our framework, we start with the S in SOAP. S stands for story, situation. Last time through on financial, we looked at the framework, who, what, where, when, why, and how. You can do that again, or I'd like to offer up another alternative, another tool, another possibility. And I call this one create your own. And I always used to say create your own story, create your own situation, but it could be create your own masterpiece, create your own print, create your own painting, create your own whatever it is that you want to create, be your doer, have in the world. For decades, literally for decades, I didn't know that I had the ability and I really could control more of the outcomes of my life than I was giving myself credit for. I honestly believe, like so many other people, that life just happened and our job was to respond and react to that in the best way we possibly could, given what we knew and know at the time. I just believed that life happened and we just responded to it. And it wasn't until I started to do some personal development and growth and reading and learning and understanding, beyond what we learn in school, college and school and everything, and realized that, oh, I do have some say-so in and some control over my life and the direction it's going to go based on what I think, what I feel, what I believe, the choices I make. Everything is filtered through me. I'm like a camera or a magnifying glass. Jesus, I should definitely be able to relate to the magnifying glass thing. What I see, what I experience is always filtered through who I really am. And it's that way for each and every one of us. But I learned that we can write, we can create, we can decide our own story within, certain parameters that, guess what? We're the one that sets and decides on those parameters as well. There's some things physical that we really can't control, but I don't believe that there's any such thing as can't. Thank my father for that one. he taught my sisters and I, there is absolutely positively no such thing as can't. If you want something badly enough, you'll figure out a way to make it happen and make it appear and make it be a part of your life. You know, so many people, me included, believe, oh, I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. I'm not whatever enough to do something. But the truth is, any one of us, even at my age, if I decided, hey, I wished I'd always gone to medical school. I kind of wanted to be a doctor when I was younger, but then I realized I didn't like blood and guts and things that much. So I decided I would go a different route. But if I decided at 60 that I wanted to be a doctor, I don't know if I could get into a medical school, but I guarantee I could learn the information, I could pass the test to get into medical school. I just know I could, based on all of the other things and experiences that I've done in my life. If I want something, I know now that I can take the steps and the actions to make that a reality in my life. Don't worry, I'm not going to become a doctor at 60, and I'm also legally blind, so I'm definitely not going to become a doctor. Wouldn't be good to have a blind doctor, I don't think. So what is, like last time, for S, what is the story, what is the situation that you're telling yourself right now? What is the story or situation I'm telling myself right now about my physical well-being, my physical health? Well, telling myself all kinds of nonsense about my physical well-being and physical health. I'm telling myself, obviously, based on the results that I'm seeing in my life, that my personal rating and feeling about how my life is going the wrong direction. I obviously am thinking things that aren't probably true. I'm thinking that just because of COVID, I can't eat and make choices or exercise the way I want to. Because it's winter where I live. I live in Wisconsin. It's getting cold and really nasty outside, and it's, you know, just going to get worse for the next couple of months. I'm telling myself, well, I can't go outside for walks like I do every day normally because it's too cold. Well, nonsense. But what's my present story? What's the story I'm telling myself right now? Last week it was, or when I rated that, it was, I'm not feeling good because I might have been exposed to COVID. How many of us have all of a sudden, every time we cough or sneeze or blow our nose or have a tickle in our throat, like I did at the beginning of this video, think, oh my God, I've got COVID. My sister was talking to me the other day, and she actually recovered from leukemia. And so she's at high risk, but during that period, she became very germ aware. She had a 3-year treatment protocol where her entire immune system was basically erased and then built up again. She went through arsenic treatments for, I don't know how many arsenic treatments, but arsenic treatments and chemo and all kinds of things to take care of that leukemia, which is, you know, cancer of the blood. And so she and I are really careful, but she says, you know what? Since March, I swear I've had COVID 72 times. Now, has she? No, she and I both went and got a test together, and we were both negative. And we didn't think that we'd be positive, but we were actually kind of surprised, given that we think there's, you know, some craziness going on with the testing of COVID. So how many of us have had a scare with, oh my God, it must be the COVID? I mean, it's kind of gotten to be almost a joke, but every time, you know, I don't know, I've woken up for the last 20 years sneezing and coughing, not coughing a lot, but just, you know, with the tickle in my throat. I drink water first thing in the morning because I have that tickle in my throat. It's definitely not COVID. So a lot of what we have to filter through with our story we're telling ourselves right now is what is real and what is fear and what is imagined. And that's, you know, different for each and every one of us. But, you know, I always thought that I didn't let those things affect me, but even I have those thoughts sometimes. And I need to remind myself that I get to create and write my own story. So today, create your own story. Create your own painting, create your own drawing, whatever it is that works for you in your imagination. So what's your story now? But more importantly, what do you want your story to be? What do I want my story to be with respect to my health? I want to have a ton of energy. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whoever I want, wearing whatever I want. Even my tightening exercise clothes. I want my exercise clothes to feel comfortable so that I can move and walk and exercise and do whatever it is that I want to do. Yes, I want all my clothes to fit that way. And I've noticed during COVID, some of them aren't. We'll talk about that in a couple of days when we go to results and measuring in progress. But today, our tool is create your own story. Realize that you have the power and the ability to influence and decide what your story is going to be. In case no one ever told you that before. I don't even remember how old I was when people started telling me, oh, well, you can influence that. You can decide. And I actually listened and heard it. So that's our tool today. Our assignment today is just share one thing in the comments below physically that you want, right? Let's focus on our desired state, not where we are right now, but what we really want. What is one thing that you really want? I guess I just want to have, I shared that already. I want to have energy. I want to fit into my clothes. We'll talk about that too when it comes to measurement and how we know the results and if we're going in the direction we want to go. All right, I'm rambling. Have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow. It's granddaughter day, so I'm excited about that. I want the energy to keep up with my granddaughters. That's what I want. I'll be with you tomorrow with the O in our soap, and we'll talk about, all right, we know where we are. We know what our story is. We know what's going on right now. We know what we want. How are we going to bridge that gap? We'll start talking about that tomorrow in detail. Take care.